This episode of PaddleTV is brought to you by the ACA, improving the paddle sports experience for over a century. Learn more at americancanoe.org. Kayak touring is a sport that requires an upfront investment in gear, but once you have that gear, you'll be good to go for years. And so in this video, we're going to take a quick look at the gear that you need to get started. Starting with the kayak itself, without going into lots of detail, when choosing a touring kayak, there are 3 questions you need to ask yourself. What type of paddling do you plan on doing? What's your budget? And is it more important to be fast or stable on the water? With these answers in mind, your best bet is to head to your local paddling shop and see what they suggest. Better yet, many paddling shops have demo days, which actually let you take and test the kayaks out on the water. Your paddle is obviously another key piece of gear, and the 2 most important factors that you'll need to consider are paddle length and blade size. The most common length for touring kayak paddles is between 210 and 230 centimeters. Now, as a general rule, smaller paddlers should use a shorter paddle with smaller blades, while larger paddlers should use a longer paddle with larger blades. As for the shape of the blades, long and skinny blades are designed for long days of paddling, while larger and wider blades are designed for more aggressive paddling because they catch more water. Once you've decided on a paddle length and blade size or shape, your next biggest decision is how much you're willing to spend, knowing that paddles range in cost from $80 to $400. Of course, you get what you pay for, and so I'd recommend getting as good a paddle as you can comfortably afford. The next piece of gear you need to have is your most important piece of safety gear, your life jacket. Paddling specific life jackets are by far the best because they're designed not to restrict your movements when you're paddling. Something else to consider for safety's sake is to choose a bright colored life jacket that can be seen easily on the water. The skirt is another important piece of gear because it seals the cockpit and prevents your kayak from swamping. Just make sure when you put it on that you leave the grab loop on the outside. Basic nylon skirts go on and come off the kayak very easily and prevent splashing water from getting inside your kayak. But if you expect to paddle in rougher conditions where having your kayak get swamped would be a major hazard, you'll want to go for a neoprene skirt that provides a much more secure seal on your kayak. Now, if for whatever reason you don't want to wear a skirt at all, it doesn't mean you can't go kayaking. It just means you need to stick to calm water. When it comes to dressing for kayaking, if you're lucky enough to be dressing for warmer conditions, your biggest challenge will be staying cool and protected from the sun. If you're paddling in cold water, you need to put more thought into your clothing because it needs to be comfortable enough to paddle in, but warm enough to protect you if you capsize and find yourself swimming. The key is to use multiple layers of fabric that deal well with moisture and dry quickly. Even more importantly, you need to be conservative with your decisions on the water to avoid capsizing. Now, safety on the water is paramount, and so all touring kayakers should have the following equipment in or on their kayak if you're going to be paddling in exposed conditions or rough water, further from shore than you can comfortably swim in. You need to have an extra paddle in case your primary paddle breaks or is lost, a bilge pump to empty a swamped kayak, a tow line to be able to tow your paddling buddy if they need it, a paddle float if you know how to use it, a first aid kit, some type of communication device, and a waterproof cell phone works if you know you'll have service. If you're not sure, then a marine VHF radio is the ticket. You'll also need some type of signaling device so that you can get people's attention in an emergency. A whistle is a must-have for everyone, but for times when you're not within earshot, you'll want something like flares, smoke, or strobe lights. Well, I hope you found this video helpful, and if you did, please subscribe to our PaddleTV YouTube channel and stay tuned for lots more kayaking tips and tricks.